why I became a climate realist. In 2017, when I retired from Environment Canada, I believed the carbon dioxide humans were adding to the atmosphere was a serious problem. To do my part reducing it, I'd purchased a hybrid vehicle and expected my next vehicle would be fully electric. In 2018, while skiing, surprise, I met an economist. Upon learning I was a meteorologist, he peppered me with many questions about climate and carbon dioxide. He'd done his homework, clearly knew far more than me, and had doubts about the legitimacy of many climate claims. I had no answers, and I was extremely embarrassed by my ignorance. Not wanting that to happen again, I began a deep dive into climate. While employed at EC, whenever I had questions about climate change, I'd ask a senior climate researcher in the office. When I mentioned the arguments of contrarians, my colleague disparaged these individuals. I presumed he knew the field, after all, he was a climate scientist, and blindly accepted the ad hominem attacks. I even repeated them to others, something I deeply regret. Naturally, my dive into climate began with these contrarians, and to my great surprise, my take on climate change shifted in a direction I never expected. Today, I fully appreciate the contrarian arguments of many great scientists. I no longer consider human added carbon dioxide a serious problem, and I'm surprisingly comfortable with Tony Heller's claim that hysteria is rooted in a hoax. That's quite a switch for a former EC spokesman who spent all of his career publicly accepting and hence promoting the orthodox view. The media and spokesman experience gave me insight into how the media works and forced me to recognize the responsibility and privilege that role entails. As you know, I'm a slow learner, but after many mistakes, I learned to speak only to my own expertise, BC weather, when the camera was rolling. I began deferring to hydrologists, fire weather forecasters, and avalanche professionals when media or emergency planners had questions about flooding, forest fires, or avalanches. I also developed an intense distaste for what Thomas Sowell calls elitism and I call pretendology. That is, academics leveraging their experience, PhD, media exposure, or Nobel Peace Prizes in one discipline to pretend they are experts in another. When it comes to weather, unfortunately, every Ted, Dan, and Harry in academia or the media now make unchallenged claims to expertise in meteorology. Strangely, meteorologists and the professional society to which most belong, the Canadian Meteorological and Oceanographic Society, remain silent about this fraud. I cannot. Perhaps it's my familiarity with the media and the awful celebrity game it entails driving me to speak up. Unfortunately, I no longer have influence with either the media or the emergency management community, my two former key clients. I joined the Climate Realist group because I share their concerns about where this hysterical mass delusion is taking Canada. My next car will not be electric.